Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 110S US32. This is a polished stainless half circle push plate. I'm going to remove it from the packaging. Take a look and see what Hager has sent us here. A half circle plate is, you obviously see them generally in, here's why I made that face. The screws are here. They're on top of the plate. Hager should know better, because what happens is when the carrier puts a box on top of this box, on top of this box, and then it all falls off the truck, the screws can dent the face of the material. It appears as if there's no damage whatsoever as a result of those screws sitting on top. You always want to package with the screws off to the side. That's the way that needs to be done. I always grimace when I see a manufacturer ship things that way. They'll leave their sleeves for kick plates run long and put the screws at the end. That's not the case with push plates. So you might say to yourself, boy, that's an awfully damaged plate. It's not. That's just the peel away protective. Oh, forgive me, that's the backside. The front is features the peel away protective film. I like to pull it back so we can look at the stainless. Okay. Okay, I do have some of that peeled back there. Pull a little bit more of it back. Okay. Really nice looking polished stainless. Okay. So this is made of solid stainless steel, and it is in a polished finish that would be called by Hager US32. It would be more accurate to call it by the BHMA designation 629. So this is an 8x16 plate, and you're going to see these really installed in pairs of doors. Well, there'll be another one. Have I seen it in single doors? Yes, I'm sure movie theaters like to use half circle plates, but you'll generally see it in movie theaters because I've familiar with one particular movie theater where they have double doors leading into the theater, half circles, and then they have portal windows, so that round theme kind of carries through with the hardware. So a typical half circle is going to be 8x16 because that's the height, and the what would end up being the diameter would be the same. So 16-inch on one dimension, it's going to be 8-inch on the other dimension. I gotta tell you, this feels a little bit heavy. It ought to be 50 thousandths thick, at least I believe it is. Yeah, 50 thousandths. Let's put the caliper onto this and see what it measures, or what it comes back with in terms of a thickness. Yeah, okay, it's not... Yeah, it's 50 thousandths. Okay. It just seemed heavy, maybe because it's a little bit larger than standard. Okay. Now, the 110S is a half circle push plate. The 110S can be made out of brass, bronze, aluminum, stainless. I can do it out of plastic, plastic laminate, clear plastic. It's going to include your 6x5/8 oval Phillips. Well, it's supposed to be an OPH, an oval head. It's not. It's a undercut Phillips drive screw. It's a self-drilling screw. That's not what I expect to come with this plate. I would expect that self-tapping screws would come with. And they do indicate tapping screws. That has a drill point on it. The client, I don't believe the client specified self-drilling screws. I checked the paperwork, and no, indeed, they didn't. So the fact that these are included would not be by design. It's a mistake. I'm sure the client's not going to have a problem with receiving them, and as a result, I won't be clarifying with the client that that's okay. Whether it's wood or metal, that screw will certainly work without any trouble. Now, there is a link below this video to the product catalog. Let's switch this view to the screen view so we can take a look at that document. Okay, so here we are looking at the item itself. Product catalog is here. This will be an overview of push plates from Hager. And as we scroll through, the part numbers get larger. And here's our 110S. Okay. What's nice about this is it will tell us the different finishes available. Polished brass, satin brass, oil rubbed bronze, polished chrome, satin chrome, clear anodized aluminum, polished stainless, satin stainless. I wouldn't recommend polished chrome. I would skip that. I would always go with polished stainless. Polished chrome is a dastardly finish to get without any micro scratches when they're plating. And plus, that plating is going to wear off with time, so I would avoid that and go with a polished stainless. What's nice is that they can do engraving on the material. Okay, they can do cut preparations for cylinders or locks on the material as well. And what's nice about that cylinder prep is that it would be very typical to put a deadbolt prep here if you want to lock those doors down. Put a cylinder prep in your plate, whatever the case might be. Okay. Not to skip over all the other special plates, the 30S is by far the most common of plates from Hager. That's the standard flat 50 thousandths thick, available in these 5 standard sizes. The 4x16 and 3.5/15 are the most common. But I think those, in my opinion, those plates are really too narrow to get fit on a door and then have it being useful. 6-inch, while it's a bigger piece of hardware, really fits the hand more, and you'll see on these more narrow plates a wear pattern. You can do, so that's 50 thousandths. You can do a radiused corner, a round corner. The 60S is 125 thousandths in laminate, and of these colors. Those aren't uncommon. You want to be careful when you're tightening the screws. You don't want to crack the laminate. I've seen the laminate broken. 70S is a clear, just clear plastic is what it is, in 125 thousandths. Now 80S is the 125 thousandths thick version of the 30S, which is the 50 thousandths version. Okay, so if you want the thick one, made of brass, bronze, aluminum, or stainless, you go with the 80S, and that'll have nice beveled edges on it as well. Same scenario with a radiused corner. Square corner, rounded top bevel, and bottom push plate. Square corner, rounded bevel top. Okay, so they've got a thick plate here, and it's going to have, rather than a chamfer, they will put a round over apparently on that plate. I don't believe I've ever seen a 100T, but I get the concept of what they're talking about. Here's our half circle that we've gone over. This would be a push-pull combination. You could put these on either side of the door and it will operate however you like. This would be used on a double acting door that you wanted to be able to pull towards you rather than have push or swing in. The 121L is used, in my opinion, most effectively when you have a rim exit device. You want nothing on the outside. Except a small cylinder. And I'll use this when the client says, listen, I don't want anything hanging out there that they can pull my door open with, because what will certainly happen is that's not a lot of hardware on the door. And if they were to pull that, it's certainly going to compromise the rim cylinder and the screws holding the rim cylinder through the door. But the logic would be that there's less of a piece of hardware to hang on to, like a door pull handle, is the logic with this. If you truly wanted to have something where there was going to be no... if you wanted to reduce the possibility of someone pulling or ripping your door open, I would put your rim cylinder right through the door and then use a surface-mounted handle with nothing other than sheet metal screws. So if they yanked on the handle, those screws would rip out first. Then here's your push and pull combination set for your double-acting doors. Base material is here. I'm sure they can do antimicrobial on this as well. I don't see it listed, but they can certainly do security screws on this material. And obviously, as we can tell from this video, that they can do self-drilling screws as an option. They can certainly do Torx if you needed that as well. They can probably do lugs so that you through bolt the push plate should you need to conceal the fasteners, which would be typical in a security application. And that wraps this up. The last thing, we're getting close to the end here. There's a link to the manufacturer's page for Hager, and in that page you will be able to review not only all of the Hager products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And while we are waiting for that document to come up, and it will come up any moment, because I put the hardware back together where it belongs. There it is. That video that you see right there is a video discussing it's the companion video which discusses the Hager keying system. Hager has a proprietary, unique keying system that is all theirs. A very nice take on keying. And what I mean by that is their key blanks can work in either conventional cylinders or in small format, or an in an interchangeable format as well. So the Hager catalog is here. Their website is here. Pardon me. The catalog is here. The website is here. Encyclopedic documents, for instance, that Hager keying service manual is listed here, where you can go over all things Hager key related. That video is the companion video to that. Okay, let's finish up this video on camera. Now in conclusion, now that I've got that plate wrapped back up, I've got the screws off to the side, and we'll be sure not to fold them over. It'll be shipped like this. Hager is a company that's been in business for over 150 years, for sure, mid 19th century. There are several direct descendants of the original Hager that work at Hager. There might be 6 or more that are, I believe, 5th generation. You can call there, and you will, if you're determined, you will find people with the last name Hager in their voice prompt system. Not that you'd ever need reason to call them, and I wouldn't recommend that you do unless you were returning one of their calls. But the point is that it's a company who is in it for a long haul. They are making strides every year to compete with the large conglomerates, your Allegion, your Assa Abloy, your Dormakaba. Hager wants to be a player in that. They have some personnel that are very capstones in the area in which they work. I was just at a DHI class and had the extreme pleasure of sitting in a class of advanced door and hardware detailing. I forget the exact title, but the head of specification writing for Hager was the lead instructor, and I was instantly better. The moment I sat down in that chair the morning of day one, being in that gentleman's class, and to him I say thank you very much. Hager has a lot of loyalty. A lot of people really like Hager, and I find it very curious and interesting to watch their growth, their development. I know that they're currently in the process of expanding and reinvesting in their Alabama distribution center to be able to put things together quick, better, faster, stronger kind of stuff. And I would expect that you would find a pleasant experience with Hager products as well. Any questions on this 110S, half circle push plate, or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much.